In this video, we're going to look at two types of formulas: reference formulas and also rate of change formulas. Now let's look at a reference formula first. And what a reference formula is a formula. It begins with the equal sign. But what it does is it retrieves a value from a cell in another sheet. Once again, it references or looks at a value in a cell in another sheet and then returns it. So right here, we're in the sheet reference and rate of change. And right now, I'm currently in cell B2. I have 10 stores, and what I'm looking for is to reference or retrieve values for the sales from 2014. So I'm going to be looking at these values in another sheet, but it's a formula, reference formula. So we're going to click on the equal sign. We're going to reference or retrieve that information from the sheet called percent of total. I'm going to then click in cell F2. Now once again, what we're doing, when we look at this formula up here, it's telling us our formula is equal to the value in F2 that's in the sheet called percent of total. So I'm in percent of total sheet. In cell F2, click the check mark. Once again, this 1000 is coming from the sheet named percent of total in cell F2. Go to my fill handle, drag it down. Let's get the 214 percent of total reference formula. Equal sign. We're going to retrieve that information from the sheet called percent of total. So I'm going to click on that sheet, percent of total. And then click on the cell G2. Once again, here's my formula. It's telling me that the information is coming from a sheet named percent of total in cell G2. Check mark. Right up here, I'm in my cell, in my formula, equal, reference formula. It's retrieving the information from a sheet called percent of total in cell G2. Go to my fill handle, drag it down. While everything is still highlighted, let's format it as percent, one place. Let's highlight this information and make it accounting. Now, the next formula is going to look at a rate of change. Okay, and the rate of change, I've listed it over here. Rate of change is basically some value multiplied by open parenthesis 1 plus whatever that rate of change is. Close parenthesis. Now our rate of change is going to be 10%. So basically what we're trying to calculate here in cell D2 is looking at sales of 1,000. If we were to have a rate of change or an increase of 10%, what would that amount be? So basically, if we were working it out on a calculator, it would be 1,000 multiplied by, open parenthesis, 1 plus this 10%. That's our rate of change. Now, one trick here is that we're always looking at this rate of change being located in cell J1. which makes it an absolute or a constant. So that's something you have to remember to do. Equal sign, 1,000, which is our value, multiplied by, open parenthesis, 1 plus, our rate of change is right here, the 10%, which happens to be in J1. But we're always going to be looking at that rate of change being in J1, which makes it an absolute. So we have to remember, while we're up here, click over here. We want to make that J1 an absolute. So we're going to tap F4. By tapping F4, what we notice now is we have a $J, $1, close parenthesis, check mark. If we double left clicked, we can see 1,000 multiplied by 1 plus the value right here. Let's drag that down. While it's still highlighted, let's make it in accounting format. Thank you.